It was the end of a long day. I opened the door to my office and there was an intruder sitting in my chair behind my desk.
Hello, Shade. I'll be with you in a minute. Have a seat.
Thanks. I'll have the one you're sitting in. You see, the detective that sits in that chair and the client sits over there.
Well, that qualifies me for this chair. I'm a detective.
Yeah, well, the detective that sits in this office is Max Shade. He pays the rent, earns the money, and sits behind that desk, out of my chair.
All right. But with two detectives around here and just one chair, it's gonna get a little crowded. Maybe we should install a strap hanger like on the red car line.
I'm gonna have a drink out of my glass.
Yes.
Of course, we'll need a new paint job, like schoolroom green, something to soothe nervous clients.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
You'll come to appreciate me, Shade.
Take a hike, bozo.
If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. You can call me Al. With my talent and your luck, we can't miss.
Luck.
Come on, Shade. You must have heard of Alphonse from Chicago.
Oh, yeah. I heard you ticked off the powers in that town.
Let's say I was in a political battle, and the winners framed me.
Uh-huh. Ain't it always that way?
But you know, I kept my eye on you, Shade. I like the way you're coming around. You and I can work well together.
Gosh, thanks, Al.
And after we work with each other for a while, you'll probably want to take on this apartment.
Yeah. Your resume is in the files. I'll get back to you in, say, 10 years or so.
What's the matter? You think I'll show you up?
You look kind of eensy-weensy for this league.
Listen, a really good PD's gotta be an actor. Me, I can play any style. Let's say we're following this Russian royalty to recover a Gorky manuscript, and I spot her in the lobby of the Ambassador Hotel.
Down, Eddie. Down. Level down. Yeah, faster than that.
Countess Natasha Alexandra Ludmila. I am prima impresario, no? Alexandra, your voice, it speaks to my soul. Come, we talk with vodka and borscht.
Look, Al.
Or, how about you and I catch Don Ortega de Beltran, the Mexican drug lord?
Nothing, it's just me getting used to it.
Yeah, don't push it that hard. Yeah.
No,
Nada más cheap las drogas. Nada más el dinero mucho. Esta firing squad por tu Don Ortega. Blindfold? Cigarette? Or let's say we capture a crew of smugglers on a tramp steamer. I burst through the door. Get your bloody hands off that woman.
I suffered through his non-stop characters, including a star quarterback, a boxing champion, and the trainer of a winning horse at the Kentucky Derby. By the time he ran out of breath, I was ready to throw him out, but his last bit pricked up my ears.
So, Shade, I've got a job for us.
Job? Where, when, and how much?
Virginia Mountain Weasel.
How much, Al?
You see, Virginia, she wants to hire us to guard a valuable hunk of jewelry at her party tonight. In Bel Air.
How much moolah, Alphonse?
$100 a piece, and all the hors d'oeuvres you can gulp down. Now here's what I want you to do.
Wait a minute. This is the Max Shade Detective Agency, so named because I give the orders around here. Now, what do you want me to do?
Well, it's a costume party, so we have to dress up.
Okay, I'll rip your leg off and you can go as Captain Ahab. I'll go as the whale, naturally.
Shade, I already have the costumes.
He opened a large box and took out what looked like a wad of used gauze bandages.
We're going as mummies.
Not a chance.
$100, Shade.
Well, we walked into the Bel Air mansion of Virginia Mount Weasel, the real mummies of Bel Air.
Perfect.
Al strode confidently through the front door like it was his personal crypt. Virginia Montweasel waddled over to us as fast as her 200 pounds could navigate through the costume crowd.
Alphonse, darling.
She kissed Al on each cheek. His face, that is.
Who's this hunk of mommy, honey?
Virginia, this is Muscle Mummy. Sorry. Virginia, this Muscle Mummy is my partner, Max Shade. He's the boomer on the team.
Well, you'll have yourselves a good old time. I'll let you know when I need you.
She laid a hand on my shoulder and looked into my eyes. Well, because the other one was wrapped up. Miss Mommy,
Great.
Oh my, I suppose I didn't tell you.
I'm sure it has to do with your crowning Nefertiti, Mrs. Malweasel.
Well, yes. Yes, it actually does. You see, this is a costume party.
I gathered that. From where we stood, I could see at least 5 Cleopatras, some armed Roman centurions, 3 Gaius Julius Caesars, one with blood smears on his toga, a host of bare-chested, sinuous servants, a handful of blithesome belly dancers, and a partridge in a pear tree. Or maybe it was a peacock.
I'm going to award the prize for the best masquerade.
And you get to pick the winner, of course.
Oh, heavens to Betsy, no. I'd never be accused of favoritism. These are all my close friends.
Of course they are. Your very best friends.
Mrs. Michael Tolliver, Senor Villasenor, the celebrated Cuban artiste, and Prudella Miss Uzzarella. She is the chair of our flower guild. She will pick the lady with the most fascinating costume.
Naturally, the winner will be yourself.
Just hush your mouth, Alphonse. I am not in the running, although I do have the most elegant costume.
Virginia turned in a slow circle so we could get an eyeful of the diaphanous drapery applied to her porcine pulchritude.
Queen Nefertiti. There's no one else with this costume.
Gorgeous. It fits you so well.
Flattered? Oh, pooh. I am not eligible. But 10 o'clock we will have the grand parade led by the winner wearing Nefertiti's jeweled diadem. It's mine, of course, but I want to show it off. Diamonds and emeralds studded all over it, don't you know?
And you want us to protect your crown.
Of course, Mr. Shea. I don't expect any trouble, but one cannot be too careful, especially with something so valuable.
Well, that's what we're here for, Mrs. Malweasel. The best protection outside of a fighting Irish football line.
Where is the crown now?
In a wall safe in my bedroom.
She fished into her plumpness.
I have the combination written down on this piece of paper.
We'd rather not have the combination right now. Let's wait until we need it. Al and I agreed to meet at the foot of the stairs when we were needed. Meanwhile, we'd lose ourselves in the party and keep our taped ears open. I hobbed and nobbed with a clutch of masqueraders, a couple of mummies and a slave and a very short loincloth, until I reached the punch bowl table. It was difficult to drink, but I soaked my bandages in the liquid. While I was sucking my fingers, a girl made her way to me. I could tell right off she was a girl. She was scarcely wearing a harem costume. I mean, she was almost, well, you know what I mean.
You are he, mummy, or she, mummy?
Most definitely a he, mummy.
It's funny. No, a he, mummy.
If it wasn't for the tourniquet around my waist, she'd know right off that I was a he.
Dance with me? You like?
Absolutely. I took her small body in my arms like Boris Karloff squeezing a bunny.
What's your name, Mr. Mommy?
You can call me Mammy, honey, Miss,
Mommy? Key.
You've been in this country long?
I am guest of Mr. Montweasel.
I smelled the strong odor of a peccadillo. The dance music faded out. Immediately, Miss Maniki detached herself from me and flounced off to another guest. She also managed to lift my .38. I followed her, but I caught sight of Al dispensing his advice on children to a couple of oiled eunuchs. By the time I worked my way through the crowd, Al had disappeared, so I relocated to a dark corner of the library, where I immediately sat on top of a big peanut.
Ooh, have a peanut.
And the big peanut offered me a bag of roasted goobers.
I'm the Peanut King, Horace Montweasel, don't you know? My wife put this shindig together. She's yonder dancing with the overseer, the one with the big whip.
And the smell of roasted peanuts was getting to me.
I got smart selling peanuts at the baseball game.
I dipped my hand into the bag.
See there, nobody can resist the smell very long. Give them something they can't do without, don't you know? Now I've got more money than you can shake a stick at.
Peanuts to plenty, huh?
Say, that's pretty good. I think I'll use that as a slogan. You don't mind, do you?
Be my guest.
Peanuts to plenty. Ha ha!
Out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of Maniki's bottom wriggling up the winding stairs.
Oops, here she comes. Here comes my wife. I'm out of here.
Horace hustled off before Virginia came up to me.
There you are, silly boy. We're gonna have the parade in just a sec. You can give me the diadem now.
Mrs. Montweasel, I don't have the combination to your safe. Don't you remember? I said I didn't want it until you needed the crown.
Don't be coy with me, young man. I gave it to you only a few minutes ago.
I took off up the staircase 2 steps at a time. Mrs. Montweasel panting along right behind me. I rushed into the bedroom where Horace Montweasel was on the floor wearing only his underwear. The wall safe was totally empty. Virginia fainted.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here's some important news on good grooming. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Lick Slick Slip pomade for the first time were asked, how does Lick Slick Slip compare with your hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. At least 2 out of 5 of the folks who replied to our survey said they preferred Lick Slick Slip pomade over their previous brand. So if you want that sharp groomed look that puts you ahead of the crowd socially, at school, and at work, get Lick Slick Slip pomade in the 1-gallon bottle on sale at all drug and toilet counters. Lick Slick Slip pomade, again and again, the choice of men, women, and children too.
Yes, sirree, we had a big time problem, and I was right at the center of it. The Nefertiti diadem was missing, Virginia Montweasel was out cold, and Horace was shivering in his underwear. I took the tape off his mouth and untied his hands.
Ouch!
Sir, can you tell me what happened?
I was walking down the hall when this fella dragged me into the bedroom. He made me take off my peanut suit. Then he hit me on the head with something.
You recognize him?
Well, he was wearing a mummy suit, just like you.
Horace pointed right at me. I had a pretty good idea who the other mummy was. The situation didn't look good for yours truly.
I bought that diadem in Egypt. The way I heard it, the crown was stolen by the Nazi Gestapo. Later, they sold it to an antiquities dealer for enough money to get out of Egypt. I figured the crown was a rinky-dink imitation, but it was just the thing for Mr. Peanut.
Mr. Peanut.
Peanut King, don't you know? But when Virginia got a load of it, she went nutty. Nutty. Get it?
I should have copyrighted Peanuts to plenty.
Loved it. Wore it around the house. I didn't have the heart to tell everybody it was a phony.
Which way did the thief go? I pounded down the hallway. Sure enough, there was a fire escape outside that led to the parking area. I hailed the valet parking guy. Hey, did you see a peanut fly out of here?
I see a rubber band, I see a hot dog stand, but I believe I seen about everything that I see a peanut fly.
Which way did you see him, Sally? See it go?
Hey, he's heading that way, Pilgrim, riding a purple sports car. I never saw a purple car.
You're gonna have to be more on axis for that.
We can work on it.
I never saw a purple car. I never hope to see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see it than be one.
Okay.
I threw down a bill and cranked up my rag top. I'll be in touch with your agent. Not as fast as the purple sports car job, but good enough to keep a tail on
Hold on. Let me see what's going on.
This is
Are you on the queue? You're not on the
I'm on the
queue.
queue, I'm right on the.
You sure?
Yes, right here. I don't know.
Good play. There it is.
I didn't-
Use the mouse if you want.
it. I caught sight of the car parked at a sleazy bar on the waterfront. I grabbed my spare 38 and headed for the front door. Nobody inside. No customers, no tables. Light dribbled in from the blacked out windows. From somewhere in the gloom, a man wearing a tuxedo approached me. He was tight-lipped, sinister. His pencil-thin mustache barely moved as he spoke.
We are closed now. Please to accept yourself.
Just wait a minute, Mynheer. There's a purple sports car parked on your doorstep. I don't much think it's yours. Somebody else is in here.
Nein, you see there is nothing here. Is no person. We are for the Zimmers only. They are all at Zina.
I don't buy your story, Fritz. Where's the back room?
In the Spark Dukov.
I drew my 38 butts.
Drop the rod, Deke.
The little belly dancer shoved my own pistol into my ribs. The crowd pointed a Luger at my head.
Shade, you are dumber than a tree stump.
It was Alphonse.
And now, you're the only mummy left to take the, rap. Get it? Supper?
Yeah, I got it.
And we walk away with the Nefertiti story.
Get the package, babe. We're gonna leave the dummy all tied up for the cops.
So the diadem isn't phony like Horace figured, huh?
Oh, it's the real deal, all right. Direct from the Cairo Museum. The Gestapo stole it. They sold it on the black market for enough guilt to hightail it out of the country.
Got it, Alfie. Let's get out of here.
She had the prize crown in a burlap bag.
Get aboard, babe. I gotta take care of the fall guy here.
Al spun me around and lashed my hands behind my back.
Yeah. That's what
With Horace's ID of the mummy, now clobbered him, the cops will do the rest. Your mummy suit ought to be just the thing for 30 years in the clink.
Alphonse made for the motor launch, but he forgot one thing. The mummy bandages on my wrists made it easy for me to slip out of Alphonse's rope. I jumped for him just as he made the outside dock. Maniki was in the cockpit with the engine hot.
Come on, hurry!
He dived headfirst into the boat, and she hit the throttle. There was one chance. I grabbed the boat hook from the dock. Just as she goosed the engine, I snatched the Nefertiti out of her lap. The launch headed for a shift in the harbor. I figured the Coast Guard would pick up the two crooks. Virginia rolled out of a cop car, bustled her way over to me, and planted a big, wet kiss.
Oh, Mr. Shea, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Alphonse had overplayed his hand. I had my office all to myself again. Immigration nabbed Muniki. Horace was grateful that his indiscretion would be buttoned up for good. And Virginia hired me to deliver the Nefertiti diadem to the Cairo Museum where it belonged. But that's another adventure. This round I'd earned my $100 the hard way. Yep, peanuts to plenty.